Welcome to Golf, Illinois with the Glenview Club for the 45th Annual Chicago Charities. We're going to do the draw landscape presented by Save-A-Tree. And I'm joined today by Lauren Mandel. Jerry Vian is homesick. Welcome, Lauren.
Thank you, Mark.
So, Lauren, let's go through the top quarter of the women's draw.
At the very top of the draw, we have the number 2 seeds, Dardis and Shea. And they have a possibly interesting round of 16 match with Hall of Famer Mary Doughton and her partner, who we haven't seen before, Alice Waverly. And if they get there, they could also have to play Lynn Schneebeck, who's a very accomplished veteran, and Denise Murphy. That's the most interesting early round match. And in their quarter, they have the number 7 seeds, Bodman and Hayward, who recently won the Lake Forest Open and are always a tough team.
Now, they won the Lake Forest Open, and they're likely to have a rematch of that against McNitt and Nusslock, correct?
McNitt and Nusslock, who we haven't seen much of this, haven't seen at all this year, actually, and used to play with different partners. They teamed up for the Lake Forest Open, and they made it all the way to the finals, where they lost in 3 sets to Bodman and Hayward. So now we'll have a rematch of that, and it could go either way. Okay, so continuing down to the second quarter, we have what I think is the best round of 16 matchup on the draw, and that would be between Martina Andreeva and Anna Zabori playing against Laura Berendt and Allison Morgan. And that's a lot of heavy hitting in that match, Mark. We saw Berendt and Morgan here at Charities last year, and they gave the eventual champions Niculescu and, at that point, Andreeva a real run for their money in the round of 16 before Andreeva and Niculescu won in 3 sets and went on to win the tournament. This match could go either way, and it's going to be a great one to watch.
Yeah, Andreeva and Zabori have made the semis of both tournaments they played, but you really feel like there's a lot more juice in the orange, so to speak, there. And the winner of that match is most likely to play the defending national champions, Hanisch and Van Starenburg.
And this is where it all started for Hanisch and Van Starenburg last year. They teamed up. They weren't planning on playing together long term. They teamed up and they lost in a very, very close match to Dardis and Shea, I believe in the round of 16, holding match points.
Multiple match points.
And they said to themselves, I think we might have something here. And they went on to continue to play together and worked really hard. And lo and behold, they won nationals. They haven't quite reached that stature so far this year, but I know they've been working hard on their game this fall, and watch out for them.
Okay, so in the third quarter, we've got the number 4 seed, Lemery and Rohrbach, and it looks like they're going to play potentially an Atlanta team in the round of 16.
Yeah, Lemery and Rohrbach are another excellent team who we haven't seen yet this year. And we also haven't seen the team from Atlanta, Goldenberg and Radzikowska. And that's another match of 4 very good tennis players who are also excellent paddle players, and we'll see who's in better form.
And the winner of that match is likely to play the winner of Svetkovic Ohlmuller versus Jaffe Molenveld, which, again, is a rematch from Pittsburgh.
Yeah, Jaffe Molenveld played together for the first time in Pittsburgh. They had a very successful tournament, and they defeated Svetkovic and Ohlmuller in what I had expected to be a tough match. They beat them very easily. So I look for Svetkovic and Ohlmuller to regroup and give them a tougher match this time around.
Yeah, Myrta Molenveld is one of the most explosive young players we have, and I look for big things for her in the future. In the bottom quarter, we've got a couple of cruises. But before we get to that potential quarterfinal matchup, Cruz-Rudezno are playing another Atlanta team. It's exciting to be talking about Atlanta teams, Lauren. And they're potentially matched up with Sirac and Tier.
Yeah, Sirac and Tier have been around for a while now, and they've come up with some big wins here in Chicago, in particularly. They're a tough team, and they would like to make a breakthrough here. And I think that Cruz-Rudezno are a little inexperienced, and Sirac and Tier could win that one.
And the winner of that match is likely to play the number 1 seed and the team that's won the first 2 major tournaments of the year, Cruz Niculescu.
Yeah, and they're playing great. I mean, in the final of Pittsburgh, when they weren't doing as well as they liked, they weren't having as much success as they liked, they switched sides, and they figured it out. And that's why they seem to, they've won both tournaments they've played so far, because they can just solve all the problems on the court.
Okay, so let's flip over to the men's draw. Let's go to the top quarter of the men's draw.
Yeah, what do you think in the top quarter? The number 1 seeds, Scott Kaler and Casey Watt, what will they have to face?
Well, I think it's going to be interesting for them being the number 1 seeds. They've always kind of been the hunters and now to some degree they're the hunted, which changes the mentality. They're likely to play the Lofgrens, Randy and Will, in the round of 16. Real good team, had match points against Grangero and Lefevre at Patterson, and I look for that to be a competitive match, but as always, I think you'd pick Kaylor Watt to come through.
And in the bottom half of the top quarter of the draw, we have Barnes and Marino.
A couple of longtime Chicago players who played a number of times together, haven't played a lot of national tournaments together, but they're seeded 7th. And I would look for them to come out of that section and look for them to play Kaylor Watt in the quarterfinals.
And in the top of the second quarter of the draw.
Yeah, this is a really interesting team. McInerney and Warner. Graham McInerney is the official statistician for the APTA. 2 weeks ago in Chicago, they lost in the finals of the tournament, had match points against Benchila Burris before coming up short. And they're likely to play Bacher Fraser in the round of 16. Rob Bacher's been one of the best players in the country, been to the semis and nationals a couple times. And I think that would be a really entertaining, fun match to watch.
And speaking of entertaining, the number 3 seeds are in the bottom of the second quarter of the draw, Juan Araya and Alex Benchila.
Yeah, that is a fun team, very dynamic. I don't know if the court's big enough for both egos, but it's just going to be a fun match to watch, and I'd certainly expect them to be playing Saturday night in one of our quarterfinal matchups.
And moving on to the third quarter of the draw, we have another interesting team of Martin Bostrom and Michael Montalbano, 2 names you don't normally see together in the draw.
Yeah, Montalbano's coming off the big win at Patterson with Araya, and I'd expect to see them play Paulo Gonzalez and Scott Manzinger in the 16. Scott is a Hall of Famer. I think he's won 27 national championships last I checked. He's the only one who's got as many as Jerry Vian. And Paulo Gonzalez is one of the really good young players in the game, generates a lot of spin, very fast around the court. That'll be a fun round of 16 scheduled for 1:30 here at the Glenview Club on Saturday.
And on the bottom of the third quarter, we have Marco Grangero and Mark Innes.
They played very well together last year. I expect to see more of them together this year, and I would expect them to come out and be in that quarterfinal matchup.
And in the top of the bottom quarter of the draw, we have a Chicago team, McKnight and Rose.
Yeah, I mean, real good team. Played the tournaments regularly. Didn't play as much last year, but very solid. Really old school paddle. Don't have a lot of offense, but they volley exceptionally well, and they play good, smart paddle. I expect them to see Barry Heil in the round of 16, and that's a tournament-tested team, and that'll be a real competitive match.
And then at the bottom, we have the Chicago team that's really emerged on the national stage, Chris Gambino and Matek Czerzinski.
I have to compliment you for your pronunciation there, Lauren. Yeah, Czerzinski Gambino almost beat the 3-time defending champions, national champions, Broderick Palmer at nationals last year, held multiple match points. I look for them to end up playing Compton Rose in the round of 16, and it will be a competitive, fun match, and the winner will come out and most likely play McKnight Rose in the quarterfinals. But I think it's a real good draw, and I think we're going to see a lot of good paddle this weekend, Lauren.
Looking forward to it, Mark.
Me too, Lauren. That's all for now.